Hi everyone, welcome back to Dave's Whiskey Reviews, where I've got another blind review to do now for you, which we're going to dive straight into and see what this one is. Again, kind of quite a light colour to this one, I'd say sort of straw or light gold. We'll have a look at the viscosity on this one as well. So the viscosity is looking like it is reasonably high. Bit of a, what I like to do is coat the inside of the glass with some of the whiskey. When you hold it up to the light again, you should be able to see some of the alcohol sticking to the side of the glass, and it starts to run down in legs like they would do in a wine. And that can tell you a bit about the viscosity, kind of the thickness of the whiskey. So that's what I'm just having a bit of a look at now. Yeah, some very, very slow moving legs. Maybe not as thin as they would be if it was up at a really, really high strength. Very sort of classic example of kind of a light Speyside whiskey, quite sweet, lots of green apple, really, really fresh. Some malt in there as well, a lot of kind of malty notes coming through. That kind of barley, you get a real sense of the barley. Yeah, very sort of, often you get these kind of whiskies when you're maturing these Speyside malts, these Speyside single malts in bourbon barrels. Getting a bit of vanilla in there as well, maybe a tiny bit of like sort of grass, like grassy note. Yeah, let's have a taste. So I wouldn't say it's weak. It's probably between sort of 46 and 50%, something like that. Kind of sweetness you get first, lots of sort of really fresh fruit, lemon, green apple, really strikes you. And then it goes sort of slightly more earthy, I would say. There's kind of maltiness coming through in these slight grassy notes. The finish is quite long as well, medium long. Bit more of that maltiness really coming through there. Yeah, I wouldn't say, maybe it's more like 50% than 46 from tasting it then. But it's a difficult one to say what it is, because there's quite a lot of those kind of Speyside distilleries in this same kind of style, I would say. And even some Highland distilleries that would that have more of a Speyside style that would kind of trick you. Even though it's, oh, the finish is lovely. So the transition between the taste and the finish, just when you've swallowed the whiskey, it's very, very nice. It gives that kind of maltiness and grassiness. It's still really fresh with the lemon. Yeah, this is very nice whiskey in this kind of style. There are a lot of distilleries, a lot of Speyside distilleries that wouldn't necessarily pull this off and come across as maybe a bit vague or slightly boring. This one does quite well, but I think it's because it's at a higher strength. A lot of those Speyside malts that I'm talking about that can come across as a bit bland, they tend to be around sort of 40%. And I think this is a bit higher, possibly some kind of single cask or a small batch of casks, probably from an independent bottler, knowing me. It's not young either. It isn't young. There's some there's a nice balance to all the flavors. It's had that time to really let all the flavors kind of meld together. There's a nice balance to it, a little bit of oak. I would say this is either a Glenlossie. It's not really light enough to be a Strathmill. My mind does go to Strathmill, but Strathmill tends to be a bit lighter because they use purifiers. Glenlossie, Glentorkers it could be as well. Probably around 18 years old, around 50% alcohol. Yeah, I'm going to go with, it's an 18-year-old Glentorkers from Signatory Cask Strength Collection, which I think is around 50% alcohol was bottled a few years ago. So that is what I'm going to go with, and we will find out with the reveal now. I've gotten a few right the last video, so I'm prepared for some failure now. So look. Ah, and I am wrong. So it's a Royal Brackla, which is interesting because I haven't had much Royal Brackla, and I was wrong in it being about 50%. It was 46. So Royal Brackla, 13-year-old from 1997. So that would have been bottled 2010 or 11 maybe. NC2. I'll have to have a look at. But yeah, it would have been an independent bottling from a bourbon barrel or hogsheads. Yeah. It's quite a nice one. I don't remember Royal Brackla really impressing me as a distillery. I remember it being kind of one of those ones I put to one side as maybe being a bit the same as a lot of the other distilleries. Ah, it's an interesting, really interesting one to try though. You don't see a lot of Royal Brackla. The owners have been kind of pushing it in the last couple of years a bit more. You have seen some bottlings coming out, but before that there wasn't really much of it around. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon for another whiskey review, I hope. I've got a few more coming up, so yeah, thank you very much.